38 on the right to Arizona 202 loop south.
All right, we're gonna go with it here, Sheila. I hope you know what you're doing. So the truck is loaded with a bunch of stuff for Target. Yep, we're shipping Cuisinarts. At least a few pallets worth, at least 4 pallets worth of Cuisinarts I saw in the back of the trailer there. Yep. Headed to Midway, Georgia. I think I may have mentioned that already, but I'll mention it again just to keep with the redundancy of it all. And I think when we got like about 18,000 pounds worth of Target goods, Target freight, just stuff. Yep. Midway, Georgia wants their Cuisinarts, damn it. They're planning on doing a little bit of chopping and cooking. They love food down there, you know, the Georgians. They love food. Yes, they do. And that sounds good to me too right about now, actually. I'm kind of hungry myself. Spent a bunch of time sitting there waiting to get loaded and just didn't have an appetite. Now that I'm underway, of course, I have an appetite now. So, yeah, such is life. That's all right. So yeah, so loaded up and underway here. Phoenix, Arizona, en route to Midway, Georgia. Let's see, we got today being Thursday, October 15th, 2020, and the time currently 5:50 in the PM. Boy, that sun is getting lower and lower and lower in the sky as the day goes by. It's getting lower earlier and earlier, isn't it? Boy, yep. It's part of the deal, living in the northern hemisphere, I guess. And we do have a current temperature also of 97 degrees, so the Phoenix area is not letting us down. It is holding consistent with its well-known attributes. You know, it makes you wonder, Tempe, Arizona, right there south of Phoenix, if it was basically perhaps named after the word temperature, Tempe, T-E-M-B-E, temperature, T-E-M-B-E-R-A-T-U-R-E, Robotica. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where it got its namesake from at all. Wow, look at these clouds, huh? Jeez, please. Man, that's crazy. The colors. Oh, the colors. Wow, you know, it actually kind of looks like kind of cooler in the camera than it does like to the eye, to the naked eye. It kind of looks more like smog or smoke to the naked eye than it does probably to you. Yep. Perhaps smog from LA just kind of working its way into Arizona, I don't know. Or just maybe it is fire smoke, and in which case you can't really knock anybody for that. That's just unfortunate. Yeah, Midway, Georgia. Let's see what kind of mileage we get. We got a total distance still existing of 2,113 miles to go. Total drive time of about 28 hours and 50 minutes. We'll call it 29, but actually it'll be more like probably 30, 31, somewhere around there. And we're just moseying along right now at about 66 miles an hour down the 202 loop, which is essentially a bypass for Interstate 10, which goes directly through Phoenix and Tempe and Chandler and etc. So I'm kind of digging this. I really am, because man, there was a lot of traffic out there on 10. I wish we had taken this route when we were on our way up to that Phoenix load site, and it would have well been worth the small backtrack that I would have had to do to get to it from where I was earlier. But we didn't. But we did make it on time, essentially, within about a few minutes of the delivery or the load time, appointment time. So no worries, nobody barked at me, and that's good. That's always good. And let's see, so being that my last load that I just delivered, that was all Coca-Cola, and it was bottles and it was glass, not all of it. Of course, the funny thing is that some of it was plastic bottles, and for some reason they put the glass bottles towards the back. And it just happened to be the case that one pallet full of glass bottles, shrink wrap, gave way. And whether or not they actually used the load strap that was in the back, I don't know. It was like dangling in there, kind of tangled into the mess. I don't know if they put a load strap on there or not, but when they loaded me back up there in Denver, the way it worked out was, you know, I was at the dock door. The girl comes out. She says, all right, here, I got your paperwork. She goes, pull up like 4 feet so you can close your doors, and I'll put the seal on. I says, okay, cool. So, being that it was like that, I didn't even really look at the load. I didn't even know it was bottles, or whether glass or plastic bottles or not. I thought it was like Coke concentrate, that fast food chains use, right, or something. That's what I thought was back there. I had no idea it was even bottles or nothing, so I didn't even. Anyhow, so I think what happened was the shrink wrap just failed. It just wasn't put on well. It was like all the value of all the product in that thing, and they put on like $2, like $1.50 worth of shrink wrap for probably like $2,000 worth of Coke product, or probably more, probably $10,000 worth of Coke product on one pallet, and they put on like $1.50 worth of shrink wrap on the freight. So I don't understand why it is how it is that people do what they do. I don't know. But anyhow, so being that happened on that last load, on this one I went ahead and put the load strap on myself. It probably didn't really need it, because it looked like it was pretty well palletized, and secured to the pallets. It's double stacked in there. But I went ahead and just put a strap on there anyways, up at the top, on the top pallets. Just the last thing I need is a bunch of Cuisinarts falling all over the back of the trailer. Can you imagine? Just a mess of Cuisinarts all over the place. Funny. So, I don't know. As long as nobody barks at me about the box being like dented or something like that, I think we'll be good to go. I'd rather have a dented box than a bunch of Cuisinarts spilled all over the back of the trailer. And we'll go with it. We'll call it good. We got, we should be all right. That kind of stuff, it happens. Whatever, whoever's fault it is, you just can't blame the driver. That's funny. Yeah. And actually, I don't know, I think I did mention that it wasn't as if there was a whole lot of broken bottles back there. I mean, there was probably less than 12 bottles actually broken back there when it comes down to it, And it's not like there was a whole bunch of spilled Coke all over the place. It wasn't really messy. All I had to do after they, once I got loaded and was making my way over to the load side, I pulled off, on the side of the road, so, in a good spot, and hopped back there with a broom and my trash bucket, and just swept all the remaining little bits of glass out. And it wasn't so bad at all. It really wasn't. So, Of course, the guys who unloaded it probably cleaned up quite a bit of it for me. I'm sure that they did. I know that they did. You know, definitely they did. They probably recognized the fact that it really wasn't the driver's, you know, fault. You know, if you want to call it the driver's responsibility, go ahead. But the way that it was shrink wrapped, I have nothing to do with that, absolutely whatsoever. Period. End of story. You know, I'm not the guy that shrink wraps the pallets, so whatever. It is what it is. It's ancient history. This load is secure. Knock on plastic. Yep. So we got currently about 11 miles to go here on 202 South. Working our way over to I-10 East. And we will be on I-10 East for a good portion of the way. I believe as far as Dallas, I think. Something like that. I'm going to be actually, the route that I'm taking is going to be going right alongside the United States Mexico border in El Paso, actually, which is, you know, hey, it's cool. I know it's a trip. I don't know anybody watching if you've ever, you know, been down that way in El Paso, and you know, they got that big fence right there, and you look over the fence and it's just like, it's just a different freaking world just on the other side of that fence. A completely different world. The way things, you know, it's just a completely different world. You know, the people out there truly live in shacks. I mean, it's a trip, and they're all just like scattered all across the hillsides and everything, you know. And so yeah, it's wild. It's a heck of a thing, you know. It's right there near Juarez, you know, El Paso. It's right there next to our Juarez. So I'll be going across there, and yeah, let me see here. Let's just take a look. Why not? Since I got time. Yeah. See how far we take 10 out to. Pretty far, I know that. Then at some point I'm going to be getting on 22, or 20 rather, out to Atlanta, Georgia. And then I'm going to be taking 16 again. 16 was cool. So I'm kind of doing something similar to the route that I just did a couple weeks ago when I went from Savannah. What was it? Savannah, Georgia, that I hauled out to Utah. That's right. Except that I'm not going to be on 40. That's, yeah. Yeah, so actually it's not a very similar route at all, except for 16. That was a cool little stretch of interstate. It really was. That was the interstate where I got the video of that wild sunset, you know, and, you know, I think I had, some of it was on hyperlapse. Yeah, I'll be taking 10 as far as, let's see, just past El Paso, a couple hundred miles or 100 miles or something, and then basically there is a junction that I'll be taking, and then from there on taking I-20 eastbound, going through Texas, Abilene into Dallas, which I love, and through Dallas, hanging on 20 still, through Shreveport, Louisiana, into Jackson, Mississippi, all the way up to Birmingham, Alabama, and then into Atlanta, Georgia. From there, I will be hopping on I-16. And I-16, I'll be taking all the way out to I-95 South near Savannah, and Midway is just a hair bit south of Savannah. So, pretty cool. looking forward to it. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. This long haul cross country kind of action. I dig it. I love it. Some of the short ones are cool too, you know. But yeah. Anyhow, so there we go. That's the deal. Yeah, the other thing I think I will be doing here shortly is stopping. I think there's a TA, probably about 30 miles down the road here, down I-10, something like that. I'll be popping in there and topping off the tanks. I'm about halfway full right now, but I'll top them off. Probably get a shower in real quick and grab something to eat, and then I'll be hitting the majority of my drive. I still have 9 hours and 23 minutes left of drive time on my log, so I will be running into the wee hours. Let's see, if it's 6 o'clock right now, that's 12 p.m. 6, and then 3, so till about 3 or 4, 3 in the morning California time. It'll probably be 4 in the morning local time by the time I reach wherever I end up. Wherever that may be, I'll figure that out later. So anyhow, I'll let you go, and I will see you on down the road. See ya.